welcome to the seventh session of Dataiku Data Science Studio, the Designer series. In our previous session, we saw how to import the data from a local storage as a file, and we have uploaded it to a managed Dataiku storage. Then also we have gone through the process of sourcing the data from the S3 bucket, that is a cloud storage of this instance, free instance. And we saw one of the visual recipes, that is sync recipe, and we watched how to sync or how to push the data which is there in one format to another format. That is, in our case specifically, we pushed the csv file to a parquet file, and we have verified the same by looking into the size of the compressed file and also the structure in the uh, managed storage folder location, where we saw that underscore hyphen common metadata and the part hyphen file is was ready, like it was available. So it is ensured that the file has been pushed from one location to another. So in this session, we will be seeing one of the powerful visual recipe of Dataiku, that is a prepare recipe. Core of the microstrategy, the core of this Dataiku engine is all running towards the prepare recipe. Most of the cases for any end-to-end BI projects or any end-to-end data pipelines, we need to use prepare recipe more. And this is the recipe which got a lot of features, lot of steps to cover. So we will be having a detailed introductory session to this prepare recipe in this particular video. In the next session, we will go through the project which covers most of the content on this prepare recipe. So in order to take any visual recipe into our flow zone, we need to click on the data set, any data set. For example, I click on the orders data. As soon as I click, the visual recipes gets enabled. I need to click on prepare recipe now. So it is giving me that my input data set is customers data, and output data set is already by default it adds underscore prepared as a prefix or a suffix to the data, what the name, whatever is the thing that is already having. I will leave it the same, and I will store it into data IQ's managed storage. And now I will not use the Parquet. Let me go with the CSV, and I can click on create the recipe. So this is the window where we do the preparation. Now this prepare recipe window has following items. The first, to the left side, we have a script generator place where we keep on adding our transformation steps. Then sample data. Currently the customer data is just have 1025 rows and the whole data got displayed here. But if our data is having more than 10,000 rows, like 20,000, 50,000, or lakhs of rows, only the sample of the data will be displayed and we will be using when we are doing the preparation, not the entire data. It will becomes a heavy computation when we try to do those transformations every time on the entire data set. So it intelligently ensures to keep only the 10,000 rows here. But for now, we are not worrying that one because the whole data is just this one. Then what are the items that are to be displayed here can be controlled by in the display. Then the table view, that what is in there, it is sufficient for our work. And when we prepare this recipe, on what engine we need to run on this recipe, default based on the input data set and the format we have, it is suggested the DSS is the best engine, Dataiku's DSS engine, like studio engine. And it is also mentioning that it is not usually necessary to change the engines manually, but we will just also see what are the other options we have. We have Spark optimized, that will run on Spark, but in this situation DSS is better than Spark, that intelligently this has been guessing, and we will ensure to go ahead with the DSS. Then we have four other non-selectable kind of engines, that is Hadoop MapReduce is also there. Then in SQL database thing, then Hive and Impala are there, which are like kind of non-selectable engines. Then we will just reset the engine to default, and I will click OK. Now we will look into the data once that has been there in this thing, and we will try to apply a few of the simple prepare steps. So I'm able to see that we have first name, last name, phone number, SSN, address, city, state, zip code. As soon as I look into the data, I see the phone number and SSN number columns are being masked by giving XX to everything. Basically the masking has been happened looking like it's a personality or identifiable information or something, API information, which usually will not be displayed in any of the data directly, which is also every time gets encrypted with some other characters. And now we, as a preparation, like in this preparation step, we think that these two columns will not be used for any of our analysis, and we want to delete them. Now there are two options to delete the rows, sorry, columns. I can click on that column icon here and then go for delete. As soon as I do that one, a new step gets added, whatever the corresponding thing. But I will show you how to do that in the other way. So in the left side, we need to go to the script, add a new step, and I need to remove the column. So I will mention remove. Since the default the string has been selected, I will deselect the thing and I will go for remove. Now it is giving me the different options that have been there. Remove or keep the rows where the cell is empty. This is on the columns, but I need to what do it for the this is on the rows. I need to do it for a column. So delete or keep the columns by name. I click on that. Now I will select multiple columns. I need to do that. That means I need to do this step for both phone number and SSN. I will do multiple. Do I need to keep them or remove them? I need to remove them. Which are the columns I need to specify? I will specify phone number and I will specify SSN number. These two columns I need to remove. As soon as I do that one and add a new step, these two automatically gets deleted. Now I will go for a one more step. We have first name also and last name also. I need to combine these two names to become a full name, and later I need to remove the first name last name since they will not hold any significant information if you have the full name. So how to do that one? I need to go for add a new step. Now I need to do a concatenation for a thing. I can search for concat directly if it is available. Concatenate columns. I have two columns and I can concatenate those two columns. I can click on that. What is the delimiter to use? I will first give which are the columns that I need to go with. I will go with first name. Then I will go with last name. I need to concatenate, and the delimiter to use is space. I can either give it like this. Then the output column should be full name. Since it is already taking, maybe I can just need to change the delimiter just as a space instead of adding a particular programmatically thing. So it is already taking that. It is becoming a full name. And we also see that the first step got like it actually added to our thing that the columns got removed from the schema also. Now I have concatenated based on the visual recipe, adding a step based on the concatenate columns. I can delete the same step by going to this delete icon. There are few icons. I can pause or disable the step for now, or I can delete that step. Let me show you the another way of concatenating these two by going to a formula. So I delete this step. So my first and last name, like the full name column will go away. Now I'll click add a new step and I will show you how to do that using concatenation as a formula. I need to click on formula, and the output column expression should again be a first name, sorry, full name. Then I need to go for an editor panel. This is the place where we write our formulas using DKU's formula language. It almost similar to any other programming language formula language, but if there is any syntactical issues that you face, for example, when you give not equal to as exclamatory mark and equal to, or are we using that open bracket like a kind of a close and open kind of icon, that is this icon, or are we using this kind of icon? These kind of small syntactical things can be checked by going into using formula language. That icon will take you to that documentation. Now I need to concatenate two columns, that is first name and last name. Simply I can go ahead and do first name plus I need to give a space and I can give last name. But here this is working. There is no issue in this thing. But there is a suggestion that I am getting as a kind of warning that you may want to use a concat to concatenate two non-numerical values. Since first name and last name are the two non-numerical values, it's better to go with concat as a formula, as a function, and then provide these two as a values instead of directly giving me this. Even though it is working, It is the suggestion that we get. Let me just do the same thing. I will quickly remove this. I go for concat, and the first part for this concat is the first my first name. Then I need to give the delimiter, that is space in this case. Then the second one is last name. As soon as I completed that one, we are seeing that the formula is valid and the sample output I got. Now I can click on apply for that one. The full name got generated. As soon as I got a full name, as we know that first name and last name may not hold a value now. Now I can delete, but we can delete the first name and last name after completing this full name step, not the before one. Now go for delete for last name and deleting the first name. Both will be added automatically as a step. We can remove the columns by going through the first way of doing manually or directly by doing the delete here. So we got customer ID, then we have full name, then we have address, city, state, and zip code. Now I see one more uh, thing, that every address is having first four or three letters, or first few characters are numbers. Now for some other analysis, I want to do basically extract these numbers from the address, and I need to give it a name called as address code or something. How to do that? We need to extract by a regular expression. Now, in order to extract the data using regular expression, I will add a new step and I will go for regular expression. Extract with regular expression. Now, the input column for this address, and name of the output column I want is address code. Now, we can write the regex formula directly by going into the regex standard specific coding will be there, where we put the flower bracket, close bracket, and see from which range to which range the number is there, or from which alphabet to which alphabet the letter is there, based on that sense. But Dataiku as a strong modern analytical tool provides us an option to find the regex expression using smart pattern. It's directly allowing me to, it's saying here highlight the sample data to add to the selection. Now I will simply need to select which is my data that I need to extract from. Now it is suggesting different patterns. There are so many patterns here. I will go with I can go with any pattern. I can see the match rate. These are all 100% match rate, that is completely green. That means if I go with any of these form patterns, it will be able to extract. Now I'll go with this pattern. So what is it suggesting? 0 to 9 of anything means if the first few characters are anything from 0 to 9, that needs to be extracted in my data. But this will not always remain same. In case here it will be matching 100% because our data is having first few letters as a first few characters is a number. But we are not specifically saying whether how many characters should be there, whether it's a 4 character number then only you take, or if it's a 5 characters should neglect that. Are we saying that? No, we are not doing anything. Even if it is a 3 characters it is extracting, if it is 4 it is extracting, if it becomes 5 also it will extract, or 2 also it is extract. So irrespective of that one, whatever the numbers numbers that we get in the first few character things, that will be extracted. I'm good with this thing. I will click on OK. Now I got the address code based on the address column. So now I have prepared my data using the prepare recipe into customer ID, full name, address code, city, state, and zip code. This is a simple demo of how we can able to use the prepare recipe for our analysis. Once we are good with the script, I can able to run the script. As soon as I click on run, the prepare recipe starts to running on the DSS engine, and it was mentioning the job got started. I can go with to the and it is mentioning I'm getting some warnings here. I can see that yeah, our prepare recipe is completed. I think the warnings are something that are related to the engine specific, but there is no issue. As soon as the recipe in icon will be like this, as soon as I click on the output, It is expected, and it whatever the details we are seeing is what we expected during our initial requirements. We have a customer ID, full name, address code, city, state, and zip code. Now this has been completed for the entire data. Now the next pipeline can continue based on this data. So this is how a prepare recipe works. And we can, in order to deep dive into the warnings, maybe we can go for the jobs. The recent, what is the error, like warnings, that in case if it's error, it will not to have the data in the output. So if I show for the warning, Hive Metastore synchronize occurred one time. So this is Hive Metastore synchronize is a kind of a thing that once we take the data from our local system and try to do this one, this warnings will come, because we need to, when we do that import into our managed storage, we need to sync that one. So if we go to the first step, when we sync here, we can go for the settings. Here it will show format or preview. Yeah, there will be some place where we can able to sync it. So once we do that sync and we run it, it will run without warning. So that is not an issue, that we, even if it is warning is there, until unless it should not be errored out. Because if it is errored out, we will not get any data in the output, but it is now giving all the data, that is whatever the required data that we have. So now this is on the prepare recipe, how it prepare recipe works. Next, in the next session, we will deep dive into this prepare recipe. We will cover more the like transformations that are available based out of a project. Instead of just talking on a general level, we will go through one a big project where we can able to understand how this prepare recipe is useful in terms of uh, like original projects. We will try to mock that one. Let me just open the presentation screen and put it into the presentation. So in this session, I will just give you the requirements of the project, what is the expectation of this project, and what we will be doing. In the next session, I will break down this project into how to logically divide this project. And in the later on next sections, we will work on this on using a prepare recipe. So here, there is a project, an hypothetical credit card or a BNPL, buy now pay later company, a financial firm, wants to revamp their normal customer reward program to be more targeted. That means every BNPL or a credit card company has their own reward program. Whenever a new card holder, whenever a new person opens an account with their team and gets the card or digital services, they need to reward them by using a various reward program, by like cashback will be given, then some subscriptions are being given, or digital wallet kind of things will be given, and those things. Now for this company, they want to revamp that customer reward program to be target specific. So the requirements of the project are: prepare a clean data set out of existing customers' data. We will see where this customers' data is residing, which will be used as an input for a senior leadership team dashboard. And ensure to revamp the reward program based on pandemic situation and demographics. And also ensure to restructure the risk level for loyal customers. We will see what is the input data set we have. We have card holder information data set. It has the following information: internal card mapping, first active month, reward program, lat long, FICO score, and age. Now the requirements are like this: prepare a clean data set out of existing customers data, that means this data, which will be used as an input for SLT dashboard. Ensure to revamp the reward program, basically this one, based on pandemic situation and demographics. If we see the data, we don't have any mention of what is like any column or a schema that is saying pandemic situation. There is no such information we have directly, or there is no demographics also. Next, also ensure to restructure the risk level for the loyal customers. Who are the loyal customers? We don't have that information also. And also the risk level is something which is not directly available in this input data. Now the aim of the project is, we need to prepare this data in such a way that we get cover all these requirements, and also to make the dataset clean, which is used for next BI projects, including like senior leadership dashboard or something. So this is the date in like overview about the project that we will be working on. In the next session, we will go through what is the solution for this one and how to break down the project requirements into multiple steps. uh, yep, we will meet in the next session. Until then, happy learning. Thank you.